Good morning, friends. I am kind of rattled for some reason. I am going to be making today what I call NOLA nights, one of my purse designs, and I have already started. As you can see, I've done the initial step one, which is the placement for the zipper and just the general exterior of the bag itself. So let me grab a zipper, and I'm going to be placing that zipper between these two lines here, and you will see that momentarily, so I'll be right back. All right, I have taped my zipper down in 3 places: at the very bottom here, at the middle, and at the top. So let me and our next step will be to take this to the machine and let the machine tack the zipper down. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now as you can maybe see, very difficult to see, the zipper has been tacked down, and our next step will be to turn the hoop over and attach the first piece of lining fabric to the back. So let me go grab that. Hold on. Okay, I'm back with the lining. You're going to place it face down right along this line here, this bottom line, but about a 1/4 inch past the line. So let's see where we're at. Well, let me pull it down a little bit more. You see the line there, and I'm just there, just fine with it. Should be okay. So let me take and tape this down. All right, and then let it kind of naturally fall over to the front as I turn the hoop over to the front. And let me grab a piece of tape first. Let me fold this once and fold this over twice to rest here on the side of the hoop. So that is held down there. Let me just take another piece just to be safe. So that's going to be held there out of the way for probably 4 or 5 of the next steps. So that's taken care of. Now let's take our first piece of the exterior fabric, and it is this absolutely beautiful piece of fabric here, and take it and place it face down. This time you can just place it where it's even with the bottom of the zipper, making sure on both sides that it's fine on both sides. So let me tape that down. Okay, and let me go to the sewing machine or the embroidery machine, and the embroidery machine will make a line of stitches going right across here to secure this front piece and the back piece of lining. So let me do that, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, and the line of stitches, as you can see, has been sewn, and I have checked the back side where the lining is, and it is perfectly secured also, which you always want to check the back too, not just assume it's been sewn down, because I've had numerous times where it wasn't caught properly and I had to rip out and do the step over again. So I did remember to check, thankfully. but it's fine. So the next thing we're going to do is take what I am using as my batting, which is a piece of flannel, and place it about 1/4 inch underneath the stitch line, and take your main fabric and pull it down. Smooth it down, pulling it away from the zipper so it can't get caught in there when it's all said and done. And I'm going to take this to the iron, and I don't know what this fabric is, but I'm going to be very careful with it. So I'm going to place another piece of cotton fabric over it, and I'm going to give it a quick press just to make sure it stays down, and also to give it a nice crease along the zipper, or right under the zipper. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, as you can see, I do have a good crease along there. It's sufficiently far away from the zipper itself, the nylon part of the zipper, so it shouldn't be any problem with it opening and closing. And at this point, I'll take this to the embroidery machine, and the next step, we'll do stitches right underneath the zipper coils, all around, down, and back up this side right to here. So that'll tie that down, because we're about to start our applique process. So hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, the stitching has occurred, and it's everything is secured here, held down nicely. Now I'm using, this is what is going to be my applique piece. The next step will be the placement line for the applique, which will be this piece over here. And it's kind of an orangish red, and this material is so interesting. It's got some orangish red, but it's also got some pinkish I don't know what this color is, but the thread I'm using hopefully is the color of this right here. I think it is. That's what I was trying to match anyway, because that's what's going to be doing the satin stitching. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but time will tell. Anyhow, let me go do the placement stitch for the applique, so be right back. Okay, I'm back, and you can see the fleur-de-lis, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and if not, I apologize. But you can see that there, barely. And so that's the placement line, and the next step will be to take this fabric here, place it over the design, and then run the tack down stitch, and I'll do that now. All right, I'm back, and you can see now that the placement, or the tack down stitch, excuse me, the tack down stitch of the design, and I'm going to take my best, sharpest applique scissors and cut right up against the stitching here in preparation for the satin stitch to be put down. So trim it very closely. There's a lot of little curves and such, so it's going to be a little more difficult than what I normally do, but I'm sure it'll turn out satisfactory. So let me go and do that. Okay, I think I have cut this close enough where nothing should be peeking out after the applique, after the satin stitching is done. And I try to do my satin stitching at about 1/4 inch, which is more than a lot of people do, because I've never been that good at cutting close, and I'd always have pieces of fabric sticking out from the satin stitching, and I thought, if I ever learn how to do this, I'm going to do what others aren't doing. I'm going to actually put a sufficient size satin stitch to cover all my mistakes. So I don't know, it's been a little while since I actually made this design. I hope that that's what I did in this case. So we'll see. So let me take it to the sewing machine, and this will take a while, but of course it'll be just instantaneous for you folks watching. So I'll be back. Well, I'm back, and the satin stitching, as you can see, is done. Orange and pink is an odd combination, but that's what the fabric has in it, so I'm not sure if I like it or not, but I'm going to continue with it. Anyhow, the next step will be some quilting, beautiful quilting. There's quilting inside the design, and there's quilting also out here, and it's going to be in this pink color. So I'm going to run one of those steps. I'm not sure which one is next, whether the inside or outside, but I'll run that step and come back and show you. Okay, I am back, and you can see the quilting on the exterior outside of the design. And let me get a little closer here. And I've actually decided I'm going to do the center here in gold. It's the same quilting, only smaller. I made it smaller so it could fit in here. So that's going to be in gold, and so let me go and do that, and then we'll see what it looks like. All right, I'm back, and the quilting is done. Still not sure if I like it or not. It's interesting. Anyhow, the next step will be to remove the tape from the lining piece and let it fall back onto the back, and then tape it down and run the next stitches, which will stitch down the back. However, my phone is about to die, so I'm going to have to stop for the moment and resume later. All right, resuming with the making of the NOLA Nights bag. We're going to take the tape off of this lining piece and let it fall back to the back. And let's take these pieces off too. Well, okay. All right, pull it down tautly. Okay, there's one there. There's another one there, and I'm going to take it to the machine, and the machine is going to repeat this same, I think it was step number 4, where it goes all around here, across the bottom, and back up here. So let me do that, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, as you can see, that stitching has been accomplished. So the piece of lining, the first piece of lining, is now secure, and we're going to turn the hoop back to the front, and we're going to take off this piece of tape right here. And okay, I did not prepare the little pieces that attach for the crossbody straps, so let me do that. Alrighty, I just happen to have some kind of pumpkin colored faux leather that I have cut to be 3 inches long and 3/4 inches wide, and folded in 2 with the ring in the middle and stapled, and I'm going to use those. So first, let me take and open the zipper. This is always difficult with one hand. Okay, got that open, and then I'm going to take and place them about 1 inch in from the side seams, and I'm going to tape it down about right there. I'll tape it right over here, and I'll tape this metal part down so it doesn't somehow get dislodged and in the way of the foot when it goes around. So let me do that now, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, as you can see, that has been accomplished. So I'm going to take my other exterior piece here, turn it right side facing down so you have right sides together, and I'm going to cover the design with it and making sure that it goes a little bit above the zipper at the top. And then I'm going to take my other piece of quote batting unquote and put that there, and I'm not going to leave it like that. As soon as I turn the camera off, I'm going to straighten it up, and then I'll take it to the sewing machine or the embroidery machine, and it will run a stitch that goes all the way around the entire exterior, closing the bag up. So let me go and do that. All right, you see that has been accomplished. Everything is stitched down all the way around, and the very last step is to turn the hoop over to the back side and take the last piece of fabric that we have, which is the second piece of lining fabric, and take it and cover the design up with it. As I say, making sure that it goes over the zipper at least 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to tape this down on all 4 corners and take it to the embroidery machine and run the last step, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, that was the last step in the process. I think that was step 12. And as you can see on the back of the hoop, there's a hole left here, an area left here to turn the bag through. But first thing we have to do is take it out of the hoop, and I'll do that in a moment, but we'll take it out of the hoop, and starting right here at this edge, trim about 1/4 inch all the way around, and ending right where the where's that stitch at? Right here where the stitch ends. And so just stop and leave this area here. Leave it alone until I'll show you what to do with it after I trim 1/4 inch around the rest of it. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, you can see I have trimmed all the way around about 1/4 inch, all 3 sides, and at the bottom I trimmed right to where the stitching stopped, and I kind of did it at an angle. And now you can see I've got the 2 pieces of lining, so hold those back like this, and everything below these 2 pieces of lining can be cut off right almost at the seam line, almost at the stitch line, just maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch above it. So take your scissors and do that next, and that's what I'll do. Okay, I've accomplished that, and so now you see we have this opening, and I can't do it while I'm filming, but I'm going to stop the filming and turn the purse through this opening. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have turned it, the bag through the first time, and I'm going to take this first piece here, what always ends up, well, for me, maybe it's different for other people, but ends up the shorter piece, and I'm going to tuck it in like this, basically, and I'm going to take it to the iron and press it down, and then I'm going to take this other piece here, turn it in nicely, and take it to the iron and press it down so they come together and have a crisp fold there. And then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'll sew starting here right over to here. And so I'll do those 2 things, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I have closed the bag up at the bottom. You can see I have put the row of stitches through here so it's secure. The only thing left to do before we turn it through the zipper is to remove my stabilizer, which is paper towels. So I don't think I can do it one-handed, but if I could, I could just start it over on one side or the other and pick it till you use maybe a pair of tweezers or the seam ripper and just get it started, and then you can just push your fingernail along like this, and the whole thing will come up in one long strip, or maybe two, but it's simple to do, and there's no risk of cutting your zipper like I used to do with using a seam ripper on regular stabilizer. I'd cut through my zipper occasionally and ruin the bag. So let me remove the paper towel, and I'll turn the bag through, and I'll show you the finale in just a moment. Alrighty, it is finished, and I'm going to go and take it to the iron, and as I say, I'll put a piece of cotton over this. I will not press it directly on this fabric. And I'll press it on both sides, and then I need to add a little zipper pull here, and I'm going to do something special that I haven't done in a while. I've got a button maker. I'm going to show you that, the making of a button to stick on this to make a zipper pull, so stay tuned. Good morning, friends. I wanted to do one more thing here. I want to put a fabric button on my the purse that I just made, and so I wanted to show you this device here, and it is a very well, I have to get here on the floor because it weighs probably 20 pounds, and you put a lot of pressure down, and I'm afraid to break a table if I put it on a table. But it's a very durable piece of machinery and probably will way outlast my life. But anyhow, I'm making a button with this fabric right here to go on a bag. The bag is made with the same fabric. So what you do first is you take this piece of I don't know, it's made of some sort of plastic, I believe, but it's hard as a rock, and you stick it here underneath the head of this device, the button maker, and you take your fabric, and I always double my fabric, at least double, if not triple or quadruple, folding it, and you stick it here. And a lot of people also put a piece of paper or several pieces of paper under that also to make the cut come out more clean. So you take well, here it is over here, it's rolled off. This is the cutter itself, and you take it and you place it. This is the cutting edge right where my finger's moving, and you put it down over whatever it is you're cutting, and I have to get up on my knees to do this so I have more leverage. Okay, and you just push down as hard as you can, and with one hand that's not easy, but okay, let's see what happens here. All right, you take that out, and well, you can see the circle there. It did not cut it all the way through because I'm trying to do this with one hand, obviously holding the camera, and I'm going to stop the camera, and that's why I have my little scissors here. Cut this. I actually use both circles, so I'm going to cut these circles out, and then we'll move to the next step. So I'll be right back. Okay, here are my two pieces of fabric that will be making the button, and I turned them, and I put them wrong sides together, and I removed this plastic piece, and then this piece here fits right down in this hole like that, And then you take this piece here. Well, before I do that, let me stick, this is the bottom of the button, as you can see, where you would attach it to something. In this case, it's going to be the zipper, the pole itself on the zipper. So you put it down with the attachment piece at the bottom. You put it down in this area there. So you see the attachment piece is down in this metal piece here. And then you take your two pieces of, like I say, two pieces will give you a nice button that is not, that you won't be able to see through and see metal under it. At least, maybe this isn't a problem with upholstery fabric that is thick, but with just regular cotton, which is what I use, you just put that down in there, and you take this button form and put this with the convex side down into, center it down there, and you take, this is a little device, a little piece of wood that you use to push down in there. I don't find that it's really necessary personally. I take and just, as I pull up, I put my finger in there and I pull up on this device because it moves, and now you can see it's down in there, and you might tuck the pieces of fabric towards the center. Like I say, it's not easy doing this with one hand. So then you take this piece and you turn it like this, and you stick it underneath here, and it fits right on there. So it's fits there perfectly. And you bring down the handle with good force. Okay, that should have done it. Let go of the handle. Take this top part off. Button is not there any longer. Button is right here in my hands, all nicely closed. Nothing showing on the back side that shouldn't be. It's all hidden inside. And there you have it, a beautiful upholstery button made. And like I say, this machine is made for upholstery shops to put buttons on couches, chairs, or whatever. But I saw it at a friend's upholstery shop, and I said I would love to have one of those to put on, to use to make buttons for my purses. These are not cheap. They're over a couple $100, and you have to have the metal pieces. There's the two sides, this side and the other, then the other piece, and I think I bought 700 of sets for maybe $40. But anyhow, I just thought you might find that interesting, because I don't know anybody else who does this, and I don't use it as much as I used to, but I thought it would go well with this purse that I've made. So I'm going to stick it on the purse, and then I'll be back in a moment to show you how it looks. Okay, it is finished, and I think actually it's quite beautiful. I love the button. I put the button on with a split ring and then attach it to the zipper itself. But it's certainly quite unique, and I don't think you'll find anyone else that has this particular bag. But anyhow, that's the end of today's tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope if you buy the pattern that you'll make yourself something beautiful. And interesting and unique. So have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with another design and tutorial. Bye-bye.